It is impossible to live a life without failing at something, unless you live life so cautiously that you never try. But then, by default, you fail. It's one of those ones that I think is fascinating. The amount of people who are unwilling to even try. They are unwilling to even step outside their comfort zone because they might fail, because it might all go to shit, because everything might fall apart. But it could all fall together. It could all become the greatest story that you've ever told. It could be the defining moment of your life. But only if you let it. Only if you give it the opportunity to do so. Only if you're willing to go all in and risk it. There's a reason why we admire those who succeed. Because they risked it all. They put it all out there. They sacrificed and they gave up things. The things that we aren't willing to sacrifice and give up to achieve this life, to achieve these incredible things. It's why we are constantly in awe of people who succeed at the highest level. You know, athletes, rock stars, musicians, anything of the highest level, because they did the thing that we couldn't do. They did the thing that we aren't willing to do. It's the one I always come back to. You can achieve anything in life. You could achieve whatever you wanted if you were willing to do the work, if you were willing to sacrifice the things that others are. But most people aren't. The reason why most people stay stuck, the reason why most people stay stuck in mediocrity is because they are not willing to give up the things that are required to chase their greatness. They aren't willing to sacrifice the things that do not serve them to chase something greater in life. That's why you'll never reach it, because you aren't willing to give up your niceties, your things that, as we've discussed many times before, the things that you sedate with, that bring you a dopamine hit but don't actually serve you. You aren't willing to do that. But on top of that, if you don't risk it, if you don't place yourself in that position, if you don't put yourself out there and risk failing and risk getting it wrong, you can't fail. You have decided beforehand. You have self-selected out of the opportunity to win, but you can always say, well, I didn't get there because I didn't try, or I didn't get there because of X. You can give yourself an opt-out of why you never achieved the results you wanted. You can give yourself an opt-out of why the life you dreamt of or should have had never materialized. Well, because, I did this, I worked too hard, or, my job didn't allow it, or whatever it might be. You gave yourself these opportunities and excuses hand-built in. It's called self-handicapping. That you built in these excuses into your life as to why you didn't achieve those things. So yeah, you kind of tried, but you didn't really. I tried, but it didn't work out because, I didn't have the opportunities, or, I went out, the classic one is people before a big game. I went out drinking. That's why I didn't perform. Well, why the fuck do you go out drinking? Because you've just taken away and diminished that. Because if you still come out ahead, you're like, oh, well, I was amazing anyway, despite my self-sabotage. Not that you would ever phrase it in that way. Despite these things, I still came out ahead. But if it all goes to shit, it's like, oh, well, it's because I didn't really try. I didn't try that hard. Because the idea of failing when you gave it your all is just devastating to some people. But you have to be willing to put yourself out there to achieve things of great note, or to achieve a life worth talking about. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to risk it all to take that on. You can't continue to self-handicap yourself And I see people, if we're just going to straight up talk about health and fitness, or we're going to talk about business, or whatever it is, I see people all the time. Oh, well, I don't have time to do that. I have a wife, I have children, I have a job, I have blah. You have time. We've spoken about this before. You 100% have time. You have just allocated your time to other things. You have decided to utilize that time for other things. The one I always come back to, and I will preface this with, I am guilty of it myself. But if we checked your phone, how many hours a day are you spending on your phone? How much time are you spending looking down at a screen in your hand? Probably enough to transform your physical fitness. I'd guarantee it's more than an hour and a half a day. Enough to get out there and to completely start transforming your life, but you don't have time. How much time are you spending on social media? On TV, on video games, on any of those kinds of things? How much time are you allocating to things that don't fucking matter? Because if we really got stuck into it, if we really had a look at it and audited it, I guarantee you have plenty of time. You have just chosen not to utilize it that way. You've chosen to use it on something else that is easier. It's called the hyperbolic discount. That if I offer you $100 today or $200 in 12 months, what would you take? The majority of people would take the money now. Because it's here now. Right here, in my hand. I have it right this second. And it's this concept of as we've spoken about many times, the delayed gratification. That you'd rather choose easy and comfortable now versus delaying or investing in the future for future gains. Investing in down the track to have a greater reward. No, you'd rather have right here and right in this second rather than doing what is required for later on. But every time you choose now, you diminish your life. You take away from future you. You take away from the future of those you care about. You are sacrificing future benefits and potentially incredible future benefits for something right in this second. But every time you delay, every time you go, I will invest into my future. I'll invest into my health, my business, my wealth, my future of some description. You are putting in work for a greater reward, a greater windfall down the track. You are putting off your satisfaction and gratification now for down the track. And that reward will be so great because every time you delay it, the reward gets bigger. Every time you put it off, the reward gets bigger. And that's what we need to focus on because you are choosing growth over stagnation. You are choosing growth over sedation. You are choosing growth and future potential over, I just don't want to really participate in my life right now. And I think you need to think about that. Every single time you have that choice of choosing sedation or doing something that will bring meaningful impact into your life, think about it in that terminology. That you are choosing, I don't like my current life, and I want to hide from that, versus I am building the future life that I am going to fucking love. When you can frame it in that setting, when you can frame it in this idea of not, I'm going to have something nice now versus later, it's you are making a declaration to yourself, to the universe, to those around you that, hey, I don't fucking like my life. I don't like where my life is. Therefore, it's much easier for me to choose to sedate, to shut my brain off and choose something that will mindlessly keep me occupied in this moment versus going, yeah, I'm not quite happy with my life right now, but I know I am chasing something great. I know that I am pushing towards something incredible in my life. I know that I am building the life that I will love and adore. Therefore, I'm willing to put in the work now. That work is for the life that I want, the life that I dream of. This work now is to build that most incredible life. I am choosing growth over sedation. You've got to shift how you frame things so that you can start doing the work. You might be uncomfortable with the man in the mirror. You might hate who you see, big man tits, the stomach hanging over the pants. You might hate that how it jiggles, or that you get out of breath trying to play with your children. You might hate that you cannot do the things you want. Your kid asks you to climb up and get them, you can't fucking do it. Your kid wants you to get down on the floor and play. It's a monumental effort. They want you to run with them while they ride their bike, and you're worried that you might blow a knee. You fucking hate that. So you start putting in work, and you start going, I will not choose sedation to stay in this sad fucking existence. I will choose to put in effort, to sacrifice, to give blood, sweat, and tears, and effort, and time, and money towards the life that I want. Not just for myself, but for my children, for my wife, for those around me, so that I can lead my best fucking life. I will sacrifice now so that I can have the body that allows me to do the things that I want to do, with no restrictions, with no forethought, without hesitation. I can go and just do those things. I will sacrifice a quick reprieve from this current life to build that most incredible life. I will give up $100 now to have $1,000, $10,000, $1 million down the road. I will give up this short-term win to have the long-term success. I will give up a short-term quick dopamine hit to build a life of note, of worth, of something that I can be fucking proud of. I will give up ticking a box and sedating myself and being like good enough to chase something of greatness. That's worth fucking doing. Building that delayed gratification, putting it off for later so that you can continue to grow. A life constantly growing and developing and progressing forward is a life worth living. It builds into something truly incredible, something that you can't fathom yet. And if you just keep growing and you keep growing and you keep growing, you will surpass what you already envision being the highest level, and then you'll reach another level, and then you'll reach another level, and you keep progressing forward. But it takes you not choosing to sedate now. It takes you making the differential and going, yes, I am not happy with my life, but instead of hiding from that fact, instead of hiding from the man in the mirror that I fucking hate, hiding from the fact that I am not the man, father, husband that I want to be, I'm gonna fucking do something about it. And think about that. Every time you're giving effort, every time you're putting in work, every time you're pushing through and you get uncomfortable and you're like, I don't want to fucking do this. You dig deep and go, this isn't just for me. This is for future me. This is for me in the future. That I am gonna be that man. That I can look at myself in the mirror and be fucking proud. That I can look into the eyes of my children and be proud of the effort that I gave. That they know that their daddy did the work and he led by example and he showed up so that he could be the best fucking version of himself for them. That is something worth fucking doing. That is worth giving up some simple joys in life for the greatest joy and satisfaction. We spoke about it the other day. Things of worth, things that matter, require effort. If you can just relax into it and shut off, there is a high fucking probability that it isn't of value to you. You must do things that require effort. It must require effort, and that effort can be enjoyable. That effort can bring satisfaction and joy, but it's not shutting off the mind. It's actively engaging. It's actively choosing to be better. It's choosing the future over right now. And you continue to do that. You keep showing up as the best version of yourself, and your joy and satisfaction out of your life will increase. You will gain more and more from it as you continue to progress forward, as you continue to do those things. And that's what this is about. It's not just about getting into shape. It's not just about having a six-pack. It's not just about, being proud of the man in the mirror. Though all those things fucking matter. It's about the life that you are building through those endeavors. It's about teaching those skills. It's about learning who you can become on the other side of delayed gratification, of showing up every single fucking day and doing the work. It's about becoming that man. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. That's what this is about. That's what this is leading towards. So yeah, it's worth fucking doing. Shift the paradigm, shift the thought process about why you're doing this and how you're structuring this. Shift that thought so that you can build a life worth leading, so that you can leave a legacy, that you make your kids proud, that you make your wife proud, that you make the people that you serve proud through your effort, that you lead by example and you inspire others to do so. You have to keep showing up. You have to stop settling for now. You have to stop sedating to avoid facing those uncomfortable truths head on. You must face them head on and realize that only through that discomfort of facing those uncomfortable truths head on can you actually step forward and make a proper change in your life. So that is what is required. That we stop focusing on now, that we stop self-handicapping ourselves and not putting ourselves out there, and we risk failing. And it's like I said the other day, the man who never quits is unbeatable. Sure, you might fail in the short term. Sure, you might not get it right straight off the bat. But if you keep showing up, if you keep delaying the gratification, if you keep pushing forward, if you keep putting in the work and learning and tweaking and adjusting as you progress forward, success is fucking inevitable. You will win if you just keep showing up and doing the work. If you keep focusing on your growth. If you don't quit, if you don't back down, if you say, I am going to do this, no matter what, you are gonna win. You are going to win. You cannot beat a man who never stops, who never quits, who is that relentless tide and just keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. You will wear down the opposition and you will win. Even if that opposition is just the resistance in your fucking head, you just keep coming and you keep battering down that door until you win. Get knocked down 7, get up 8. Just keep moving forward. Keep giving the effort. And forget about failing and just focusing on continuing to grow and continuing to improve. And you will get there. You will win the day. You will win the month. You will win the year. And then eventually you will win fucking life. That's what this is about. So stop being scared of failing and realizing that not trying is the ultimate failure. That is so much worse than getting in the arena and seeing what happens and testing your mettle and seeing who you can be. Not even trying and not entering the game. That is the worst kind of failure, because that is the failure that requires no courage. That is the failure that is sad and forever has the story and the excuse of why you didn't make it. Don't be that fucking guy. So if you're finally ready to stop listening to the bullshit, to enter the arena, to see who you can be on the other side, shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness and let's start that journey. Let's see who you can become on the other side. If you're not quite ready for that, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. Lastly, if you took value from this, if it inspired you, if it spoke to you, or if you know someone else who needs to hear this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm here every single day sharing the lessons from my own journey, sharing them as I progress through this. I am on the same path, I'm just a little bit further down the road, and I want to inspire and I want to share as I go through this journey. So I'm here every single day, and I hope you'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.